नमस्कार दोस्तों, प्रॉपर्टी एक्सपर्ट की इस नई वीडियो में आप सबका स्वागत है। प्रॉपर्टी से रिलेटेड किसी भी प्रॉब्लम का सलूशन पाने के लिए प्रॉपर्टी एक्सपर्ट के वीडियोस को जरूर फॉलो करें ताकि आप किसी भी तरह का स्कैम में ना फंसे। Hi friends, if you are an NRI and are looking to sell your property in India, I'm going to give you 5 checklists to sell your property hassle-free. Let's watch. So friends, the checklist number 1 is PAN transfer. So friends, once you're an NRI, your PAN, that is permanent account number, should be in international jurisdiction. But in some cases, if you don't file your return from local jurisdiction, your PAN still stays in the local jurisdiction. So before you even think about selling a property, first thing you should check whether your PAN is laying in international jurisdiction or local jurisdiction. In case it is laying in a local jurisdiction, you have to make an application to transfer your PAN from local jurisdiction to international jurisdiction. Because if you don't do that, you cannot apply for lower tier certificate. So that's checklist number 1. Let's move to checklist number 2. Now friends, checklist number 2 is to gather your document for applying for lower TDS. Now you might be wondering why you require a lower TDS. So friends, if you are an NRI and you're planning to sell your property in India, there is TDS tax deducted at source at the rate of 22.88%, which is approximately 23%. So for example, you're selling a property at 1 CR, 1 crore, then you have to pay approximately 23 lakh rupees as a TDS. And if you want to avoid that paying such a huge TDS and then claiming refund, there is an option which is called applying for lower TDS or nil TDS. Now friends, for doing that, the income tax department requires certain documentation including your purchase property documents, your capital gain calculation, FAN number, your TAN number bias and number. So these are documents takes time. So what you can do before start finding buyer? You have to gather all these documents so that once you find a buyer, you can quickly apply for lower TDS. Without no time, it will save a lot of time which you will spend, and maybe most of the buyer will not agree to give you that much time post signing and X a token money or signing a memorandum of understanding. So the better and most advisable part that before you find a buyer is to collect all your documents. So this is checklist number 2, to collect all your documents to apply for lower TDS. Let's watch the checklist number 3. Now friends, you got your document ready, you got your buyer, so you have to ask your buyer that get a TAN number registered. But this is not your check, is number 3. The checklist number 3 is file from number 13. So friends, for filing from number 13 online, which is a form to get a lower or nil TDS certificate, so that you can avoid all the hassle of paying 23% as a TDS and then claiming that was one which take lot of time, some time. So the third checklist you have to do is to apply a file, your form number 13. So whatever document you have gathered at step number 2 along with TAN number of your buyer, you can apply online form 13. With form 13, the form once you apply for the form 13, this form 13 online goes to your income tax officer, assisting officer to your international jurisdictions where your FAN is lying, which I told you in the first step that you have to transfer your FAN. So once you apply online, this application goes to there, and according to procedure, within 30 days, they have to give you the form 13, which can be 0% TDS or which can be nil TDS as per the computation of a capital gain. So this is stuffing. But is it checking how much it jackets number 3? Let's move to our second last stuffing number, which is step number 4. Now friends, once you will get an acknowledgement number and you can UK, you will also under debt to know who is the assessing officer, who is processing your lower TDS or guilt against application. You have to do a little bit follow-up because for up in India, nothing moves. So So you have to be this polite but consistent with your follow-up and within the due date. Generally, if all documents are in proper, you will get from number 13. Once you get the form number 30 in step 4 or checklist 4, you have to give this form 13 to your buyer. The buyer will submit this form 13, the certificate of lower TDS to his bank, and then only the bank from where your buyer is getting loan will be dispersed to you. Before that, it won't be possible. So that is step number 4. After the step number 4, we are going to walk about the last step. This step 5. So friends, the step number 5 is file your ID return. And this is the most forgetful step or checklist which you can call. So once you get your money into account, please don't forget that you have to file your income tax return next year. Before that, once you submit your form 12 to your user, your buyer, the buyer going to submit to bank in case 0% TDS certificate. That means there's note. TDS is required to be paid or there is no TDS payable from buyer side. So by I can directly the buyer's bank basically will tell you the whole amount without keeping in withholding any TDS amount. In case you get a lower TDS certificate, that means 3% or 5% or 1%, whatever rate is decided by income tax officer, then your buyer has to make payment of that TDS. And they have to file a TDS return also. So you need to check this. Remember this step, need to check after 15 days that those TDS deducted and return file should reflect in your income tax portal. Without that, you cannot claim refund. You cannot file your income tax return. Also, do not forget that generally if you sell your property in this, here suppose you are selling your property in 2020 up to March, then you have to file your return before July 2020. And if you don't file the return, you can receive the notice. You cannot claim the refund, and the worst thing, the buyer will also caught it between this act. So don't forget to file the return. Because the return is filing happening after a gap, most people forget it. So these are all 5 checklists or steps which are given, which has an area sealer. So you can keep in your mind, and if you keep in your mind, your journey to sell property will be hassle-free. As a partner of MGR and company, we are also providing complete end-to-end solution for buyer compliance as well as seal sailor compliances, especially in this case of NRI sailor. So what you can visit our website Arcadia Associates and you can check the packages. You can contact us if you have any queries. We can send you the whole document list. We can send you the complete packages to you. After that, you can seek our consulting. And once you're satisfied, you can hand over this work because this work requires a lot of follow-up. And maybe being a busy person or first time, you can make some mistakes and the whole property transaction ordeal can get into trouble. So the wiser part is to have somebody who has experience, who is doing on the regular basis till the time. We have done more than 200 applications and we almost got 95% success rate. Some cases it can be rejected because there is lack of documentation or then given me lack of clarity on some part of the agreement of property. Otherwise 95% cases you will get the lower TDS or in case 0% TDS rate also. And this is not very difficult, only you need to do the follow-up. So with that friends, I'm going to add this and this video. I hope you might have liked. If you have any related question FAQ or you want to understand anything, what is the procedure to sell a property, and know you can understand what is the kind of capital gain you require to be paying or what is the kind of tax provisions you have to make, everything you can ask us to our expert, including me, will be available to answer these questions and ensure that your whole journey of selling the property and get your money transferring your money to your foreign account will be hassle-free. And it is actually hassle-free, only the point somebody should know how to make it hassle-free. Thanks friends. This is all. Please share this video to all those people who might be thinking to sell a property and it can harmonize their enjoy life. दोस्तों, उम्मीद है ये इन्फॉर्मेशन आपके लिए हेल्पफुल साबित होगी। आज इतना ही। अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आए, then share it with your friends. Do watch all our videos and educate yourself regarding property. Be with us and thank you.